The Headrush Flex Prime just came out, and this is a unit that is jam-packed with updates and a brand new desktop editor that I know you guys are super excited about. And for only $500, you've got a unit that can do almost everything that the Core and the Prime can. However, you've got a much smaller package, and man, is this thing capable and sounds amazing. Now, to be honest, I have never used the Headrush Effects series before, so not only do you guys get my honest initial impressions and thoughts, but hopefully I will be able to take you on the journey of what it's like to be an entirely new user to this ecosystem. And I'll do my best to guide you what it's like to use this system, how to use the desktop editor, how to dial in some epic tones, and of course, all the other questions that you're gonna have throughout this video. Plus, if you do wanna buy this or pre-order this unit, use the link down in the description, and that will help support this channel as well. So let's talk about all the new changes with this unit, especially because Headrush also has their MX5. Now in this case, what you do get with the Flex Prime is you get a unit that is gonna have almost all the same processing power and capabilities as the Prime and the Core unit, but you're gonna have a more limited hardware. To start, Headrush has gone in and made some adjustments to the menu system. They've helped create a more intuitive setup, and it's gonna be easy to navigate, save set lists, and then you can also go in and save up to 14 blocks per rig. Of course, I haven't personally used the MX5, but I did find it pretty easy to stack up to 14 blocks, especially because I play praise and worship, and we like to, stack on a ton of overdrives, reverb, and delay. Now, two bigger updates that I think will be really well received is you do have the ability to go in and use models from the Revolver software, as well as the clones from the Headrush Cloud. I'll talk more about the software and then the Wi-Fi capabilities here in a little bit, but in my very limited experience, the Revolver and then the clones are gonna give somebody more of that experience and that real amp in the room feel and sound. If you're familiar with like captures or profiles from other companies, this is very similar to that. I say that, but I will throw in a caveat that the Revolver software is really freaking cool, and you can do a lot with this, and I've really only scratched the surface, but you can basically take different captures from different amps and almost kind of blend them together and create basically an amp that's never been created before. And I will say the only con with using the clones or the Revolver amps is that they do take up quite a bit of DSP, so I would recommend it if you only have maybe a more simple rig in terms of the amount of effects you need, or you just want to get creative and figure out how you can use DSP elsewhere. Next, there have been some pretty big improvements to the Bluetooth capabilities and then the Wi-Fi as well. Now, honestly, I think some of the audio streaming and the practice tools are more quality of life items and nice to have, and maybe something you would use more as a beginner. I personally don't find myself really using those features, but that doesn't mean others won't find them valuable or enjoy them. Take them for what they are. Now, I will say, I think Headrush has done a really spectacular job integrating with Dropbox in such a way that allows you to either upload songs into Dropbox, such as your loops, or download songs from Dropbox or IRs or other amps and clones. And it's a really cool integration, and it's honestly pretty flawless. All right, so I am very excited about this next section because I really like the way that Headrush has implemented these features, specifically the Headrush Cloud and the overall capabilities, and then more specifically, the desktop editor. To access these features, all you've got to do is first go into the setup menu, then global settings, Wi-Fi, and then connect to your local Wi-Fi network. For the editor, I will dive into that here in a second, but the Headrush Cloud is going to give us access to a database of different presets from Headrush and then other signature artists. And shameless plug, you can find me on there as well and download my signature preset, and it's going to be dialed in for more of a worship style sound. Plus, other users can go in there, you can upload your own tones, you can download presets from others, and you can even use the play icon to be able to play along with it without having to first download it, which saves time and prevents clutter. Okay, so now let's talk about the desktop editor, because I think you guys are really excited about this, and from all the research that I have done, this seems like the biggest complaint that people have had about the Headrush series. And admittedly, this is one of my first questions when working with Headrush was, do you guys have a desktop editor? Of course, the touchscreen is really nice, it's responsive, but when you're dialing in presets, having an editor goes a really long way. Now, here's what I personally like about this setup. In this case, you can access it from anywhere. You don't need to download an additional app, and it's going to be browser based. So this means whether you want to use your phone, you want to use an iPad, you want to use a computer, anywhere you go, you're going to be able to access this editor. To access this, all we got to do is go into the settings, go into Wi-Fi, and then use that hyperlink down below. And then once you go there, it's going to take you to the editor, and this is going to sync smoothly with the Flex Prime. Now, I've not had any issues in terms of latency or having issues where the app drops. And I like this a lot because using other apps, I've had issues with reliability. Now, first thing you'll notice is this looks just like the signal chain with the touch screen. So if we want to go in and edit our signal chain, all we've got to do is just simply click on a given stop box, and then you can go in, click on different parameters and effects, and then go in and dial everything the same way you would with the program display. Of course, clicking into a blank block is then going to allow you to go in and you can choose a different amp model, an IR, different effects, and just about anything else. I'm also going to release a more in-depth how-to video here shortly, so be sure to subscribe to the channel, and if you pre-order this unit, be sure to use that link down below. Honestly, this web editor is really nice, and like I mentioned, you could use it from your phone, especially in kind of like a dire situation, but for the best experience, having something larger is obviously going to be a lot better. Either way, I really like how seamlessly this all kind of plays together. I've not had any latency issues. I've not had any issues with something freezing or dropping or connectivity issues. Everything works the way you would want it to. I think some of the most natural competitors to the Flex Prime are going to be units like the Pod Go from line 6 or the Boss GX10 or 100 series. And I also think somebody could make an argument for units like the HX Stomp from line 6 or the Hot Tones Ampero 2. In this case, both of those are going to be a little bit more simple in terms of their design and having a built-in expression or foot switch, but around the similar price point. And as somebody that has used a lot of different modeling devices, I've been really impressed and pleased with the experience from the Headrush Flex Prime. I assume it is a very similar interface and experience with the Prime and then the Core series. And with all this said, it depends largely on the experience that you want and the ecosystem that you want to pour into. In this case, one thing I think that may have been holding Headrush back was not having an editor software. And in this case, now that they've got this, plus they've got clones and the Revolver software to give more of that true amp feel. In terms of my overall learning curve and the time it took me to kind of dial some things in, I will say it took me a while, but I think that's just because it's very different than what I've used previously. And I think because I play praise and worship style music, dialing in those really dense, heavy, saturated, reverby, kind of washed out tones just takes a lot of time. And of course, I think this is to be expected with any new ecosystem. And I will give props to Headrush in the sense that I liked the desktop editor experience. I liked the touchscreen. I felt like once I kind of figured out the nuances of the system, it was pretty easy to go in and edit and kind of dial in something that I actually really liked, which again, you guys can download, check it out on the Headrush Cloud. Okay, so who is this unit for? In my opinion, I think this is a spectacular portable home rig, fly rig, kind of just need something in this studio type rig. I think the Headrush Flex Prime is a really capable unit, and for 500 bucks and a small package, I really think you can jam pack this thing with a ton of value. I think if you are a church and you're wanting something for the bass or a starting electric guitar unit, if you're just kind of a home musician and you want an easy rig to either practice with or record with, I think this is a really great unit. And even though you only have 3 foot switches, you can actually map this where each foot switch acts as 2 different foot switches per preset. So effectively, you have 6 snapshots per one individual preset, which is just crazy. And I think Headrush has done a really great job mapping through everything in a way that feels logical and intuitive. Some other practical examples that show this would be their integration with Dropbox, where you can easily download songs or upload loops that you have recorded. The built-in Bluetooth capabilities and then the practice tools are all really awesome quality of life items that I think just make this a fun unit to play. Lastly, I think somebody that wants a really portable solution, especially something similar to like the Podgo or the HX Stomp, but wants a built-in foot switch and a lot of options, will find this to be really appealing. So I think that begs the question, should you buy one? For yourself, I think it largely depends on where you are at with your gear journey. If you're a bassist and you want something simple, I think this is an awesome rig. If you're a guitarist and you want a ton of really good sounding effects and you want portability, you want something for your home, I think this is a great option as well. For somebody that wants something more robust, maybe more processing power, or just a simply bigger screen with more foot switches, this is where I would end up recommending the Prime unit. Or if you want something like the Boss GT1000, the Kemper Profiler, you've got the Helix, you've got the LT, you've got the Fractal FM9. And honestly, this is just an amazing time to be a guitarist because there's so many great options out there. So all in all, I think for 500 bucks, this seems like a really capable unit. And what I've been impressed with as a new user is really just the intuitiveness and the time that it feels like Headrush has put into creating an ecosystem that is inviting and friendly, and an operating system that's really smooth, a touchscreen that feels great, and even the expression pedal for like a tiny little board like this is pretty awesome. It's a really rugged unit and it feels super sturdy. So with all of that said, thank you so much to Headrush for letting me review this, be able to get early access to it, and be sure to subscribe to the channel for more Headrush related content, specifically with the Flex Prime. And heck, if you want to win a pedal board, check out this video right here, and I will see you guys next time.